If there's one complaint I've had about Davinci Resolve from the beginning, it's Multicam. Yes, it's gotten a lot better since the introduction of Sync Bin and the speed editor, but it's still not where I think it should be. That being said, there is an NLE out there that blows every implementation of Multicam out of the water, and it can run on your iPad. Let's talk about it. Before we begin, just a quick bit of disclosure. LumaTouch, the company that makes LumaFusion, did give me access to the test flight of LumaFusion for the purposes of this review. That being said, this video is not sponsored by LumaTouch. No money exchanged hands, and LumaTouch doesn't get any input on what I say in this video, nor do they get to see the video before it's published. So again, not sponsored. Cool? Let's get started. I've been playing around with LumaFusion for a while now. It started at the beginning of last year when I tried to use my iPad as my primary device for an entire week, and since then I've used it casually to throw together quick family videos around the holidays. But now things have changed. For starters, we now have Davinci Resolve for iPad, which makes it much easier to switch between editing on the go and in the office. Plus, like I said at the beginning, LumaFusion has just added a new multicam feature, which we're going to be taking a closer look at later in this video. So the question is, how does LumaFusion stack up? To answer this, we're going to look at the usual suspects, like ease of use, basic editing, color grading, audio, special features. You get the idea. Let's dive in. One thing that I've always loved about LumaFusion is how easy it is to use. Once you open it up, it's easy to start a new project, add media, and jump into the editing process. And to make it even easier, there's quick access to tutorials just in case you get stuck. Plus, since LumaFusion started out as an iPad app and only recently became available on other devices, the layout is optimized for mobile editing, unlike Davinci Resolve, which for the most part is just the normal desktop layout shrunk down into a smaller size. There are some tweaks to make the interface a little more mobile friendly, but LumaFusion, in my opinion, still wins in the mobile interface department. As far as basic editing is concerned, they've got everything you need. You can cut, trim, mute audio, separate audio from video, delete. You get the idea. You can even have multiple tracks of both video and audio. Now, one thing to keep in mind with LumaFusion is the fact that you're working with a magnetic timeline, which means when you delete a clip, you're automatically ripple deleting, and when you trim, you're automatically ripple trimming. If you don't know what ripple deleting is, it's basically where you delete a clip from the middle of your timeline and the gap automatically closes by moving the surrounding clips. Ripple trimming is basically the same thing, but it occurs when you shorten the length of a clip, not when you delete it. But in case you need that gap there, they do give you the option to insert a blank clip that you can use as a spacer. Okay, quick side note. These are all basic essentials that every NLE should have. If you're using something that doesn't allow even one of these things, please do yourself a favor and get something new. Now, let's move on to color grading and audio. Now, it would be completely unfair of me to try and compare LumaFusion's color grading capacity with Davinci Resolve's, or even Premiere Pro's for that matter, because let's be honest, this isn't that. Still, for a mobile-based NLE, LumaFusion does have a good amount of color grading options available, like contrast, levels, saturation, brightness, vibrance, and even things like color presets, LUT support, blur, vignette, and some other pretty cool visual effects. They're all really very intuitive and easy to use. Same thing as audio. You're not going to get the same level of tools and flexibility as you would get with a professional DAW, but you definitely have enough to get a really good sounding video, including dynamics processing, a parametric and graphic EQ, and a surprisingly good sound isolation, which you can use to remove background noise. They even offer support for third-party audio plugins. All in all, LumaFusion has all of the basics that you need. They've got the editing tools, titles, image stabilization, and everything else that content creators like you and me would come to expect. So what sets LumaFusion apart from everyone else? Let's talk about those bonus features. LumaFusion has 3 available add-ons that can help you take your editing to the next level. The first is a seamless Storyblocks integration that will give you access to stock footage, music, sound effects, and backgrounds right inside of LumaFusion. And the subscription for the add-ons is significantly less expensive than a standalone Storyblocks subscription, which is super cool. They also have an XML add-on that will allow you to export an XML timeline and import it into Final Cut or even Davinci Resolve, so you totally have the ability to start your editing on the go and finish it in an NLE that will give you the color and audio tools you need for a more professional project. But my absolute favorite add-on is the brand new Multicam feature, which quite honestly is the easiest, most intuitive multicam experience I've ever seen. I don't even think I can describe it in this format and do it justice, so I filmed a little walkthrough for you. All right, we're in LumaFusion. This is just the main layout, and I'm gonna show you real quick how to do multicam because it's super easy, super fast, and it's honestly the way that I think multicam should be everywhere. I've got my clips up here in my media pool. I've got a screen recording, I've got a clip from my ZV-1, and I've got a clip from my Pocket 6K. And we're gonna stick all of these in a multicam container, and that way we can edit them all together. So first thing we need to do is come down to this little plus button right here. We're gonna click that and we're gonna select multicam container. And you'll see if we look at our timeline, we've got our multicam container right here. Now, right now, there's no clips in here. We need to put them in. So we're gonna come up here, we're gonna select synchronizer, and you'll see we've got all these spots that we can put video clips, and we've got a main audio clip. So let's set our main audio clip before. I know that my screen recording was recorded with my Shure SM7B, so that's gonna be my main audio. So we're gonna stick that in there. And then we're also going to put my screen recording in track 1. We're going to put my ZV-1 in track 2. And we're going to put my Pocket 6K in track 3. So now we've got main audio and we've got all of our different clips. And what we need to do is sync them. So we're going to come here. It says press to sync. So let's click the sync button. And we're going to choose audio. You can also sync with timecode or you can just do automatic, but we're going to do audio. And once it's all synced up, you'll see our waveforms are pretty much matched up. It's pretty good. And all we got to do is play it back to see if it's good enough. So let's go to where we start actually we can go right here to these claps. That sounds pretty good to me. So what we're going to do is come down to close. And the cool thing about having primary audio is we can switch between our audio clips and it will only switch the video. It'll keep our primary audio going. So if we click on switcher, we can come down to where we're actually going to start talking, which is right about here. And we will switch to clip 3. And as we play, instead of having to paint on clips or click and drag or anything like that, we just need to tap on the camera angle that we want to be showing. Let me show you. Okay, couple quick things before we begin. First, the relight effect is only available in Davinci Resolve Studio. So if you're still on the free version of Davinci Resolve, stick around, watch the video, because I guarantee you're going to want to click the link in the description and get yourself a studio license afterwards, because it's really that good. And that's it. You just have to click the angle that you want. It'll automatically make a cut. It'll keep your primary audio there. And then when you're done, you can hit close. And this all acts kind of like a single clip. You can, if you want, go through and you can trim if you want. Or you can come down and issues, especially if you're on. Let's say we wanted to make a cut here. We could do that. I can just hit Command B, and now I've made a cut. Crashes, you may get. Look at that. We've made a cut. We can hit split. We can do all sorts of things. We can treat this all as one individual clip. It's super, super easy. So what's the verdict about LumaFusion? Well, It's complicated. As far as mobile-based NLEs are concerned, LumaFusion blows almost everything else out of the water. And now that LumaFusion is not only available for iPads, but also iPhones, M1 and M2 Macs, Android devices, and Chromebooks, it really is hard to argue that anything else is better. That being said, Davinci Resolve is now on the iPad, and even though you don't get everything that you get with the full desktop version, it is free and you do get speed editor support, professional color grading tools, and a good fully functional cut and edit page. Plus, with Blackmagic Cloud, you can go between the iPad and your computer without having to mess around with XML timelines. So here's my suggestion. If you have an iPad and you're already working in Resolve on your main computer, I can't really see any reason why you would use anything else other than Davinci Resolve for iPad. However, if you are using an iPad as your primary device, or you're trying to edit on any other mobile device, and especially if you're looking for a multicam solution, I honestly gotta give it to LumaFusion. I'll have links to LumaFusion in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, and Samsung Galaxy Store linked below. Feel free to check them out, then check out this super cool fake sunrise I made in Davinci Resolve, and until next time, don't forget to go out and make stuff. Thanks for watching.